Liang Feng sat atop a throne, carved from the solidified tears of deep-sea mollusks, a chair so heavy it required 40 men to move. His robes were woven from the hair of virgins, and threaded with gold so thick he could barely lift his arms to feed himself. Around him, the palace hummed with the sound of 1,000 mechanical birds, each one encrusted with rubies, singing a discordant song of manufactured joy that cost a village's annual harvest every hour. Master Peng, a man whose spine had curved into a permanent question mark from years of bowing, approached with a tray of candied tiger eyes. "The empire is yours, great Liang," Peng hissed, his voice like dry parchment. "Every grain of sand, every sigh of the wind, it is all an asset in your ledger. You are the most solid thing in a world of shadows." Liang Feng looked at his diamond-encrusted rings and felt a strange, terrifying lightness, as if he were made of smoke. That afternoon, amidst the suffocating scent of burning ambergris, Liang Feng fell into a sleep so deep it felt like a drowning. In the void of his mind, the gold melted. The jade pillars of his reality dissolved into a soft, lime-green light. He felt a sudden, violent tickle on his back. 2 gossamer wings, painted with the colors of a bruised sunset, sprouted from his shoulder blades. He was no longer a man. He was a butterfly, fluttering over a meadow of wild, uncounted flowers. As a butterfly, Liang Feng felt a frantic, electric joy. He didn't own the flowers. He tasted them. He didn't rule the wind. He rode its chaotic whims. There was no Master Peng, no ledgers, no taxes, and no heavy robes. There was only the terrifyingly beautiful present. He forgot he had ever been a man. He forgot the weight of gold. He was a creature of 1,000 eyes, seeing a world that wasn't for sale, a world that existed simply because it dared to breathe. Then, with the suddenness of a lightning strike, the meadow shattered. Liang Feng opened his eyes to the cold, suffocating weight of his silk blankets. The room smelled of stale incense and the sweat of his many concubines. He reached out his hand, expecting to feel the velvet of a petal, but touched only the jagged edge of a gold-leafed table. He gasped, his lungs burning with the recycled air of the palace. He looked at his hands. They were thick, fleshy, and stained with the ink of 100 decrees. "Master Liang, you look pale," Peng whispered, hovering by the bed like a vulture. "Did you have a nightmare of losing your wealth?" Liang Feng stared at the man, his eyes wide and unfocused. "Peng," he croaked. "I dreamt I was a butterfly, dancing in a world without walls. I felt more alive in that flicker of a dream than I have in 50 years of ruling this stone cage." The servant chuckled, a dry, rhythmic sound. "It was just a dream, master. This is the reality." Liang Feng grabbed the servant's collar, pulling him close. "Is it? How can I be sure? Am I a man who just dreamt of being a butterfly? Or am I a butterfly right now, trapped in a nightmare of being a man?" Peng tried to pull away, but Liang's grip was desperate. "Look at this room, Peng. It's all so heavy, so permanent, so loud." But the butterfly was light. It didn't need to own the meadow to be part of it. What if this life is the illusion? The philosopher king looked out the window at his vast, sprawling city, filled with people screaming for status, killing for copper, and building walls to keep out the sky. He saw a society obsessed with the solid, with titles, bank accounts, and the thick, suffocating layers of identity they wore like armor. He realized that everyone he knew was sleepwalking, decorating their prison cells with expensive tapestries, terrified that if they stopped owning, they would cease to exist. "We are all dying of weight," Liang Feng whispered, letting go of the trembling servant. He looked at his jade rings and felt a surge of nausea. He realized that the modern man is the ultimate architect of his own ghosthood. We spend our lives building a reality out of data points and plastic prestige, only to realize on our deathbeds that the only thing that was ever real was the fleeting, ungraspable moment we were too busy to inhabit. You sit there, clutching your glowing rectangles, counting your digital coins, and curating a version of yourself that is as stiff and dead as Liang Feng's gold robes. You think you are the pilot of your life, but you are just a passenger in a dream of someone else's making. You trade your wings for a heavier cage every single day, convinced that more will eventually feel like enough. But the truth is a jagged blade. If you cannot find yourself in the silence, you are just a costume looking for a soul. The tragedy isn't that life is a dream. The tragedy is that you are choosing the wrong dream. You choose the dream of the mountain, heavy, stubborn, and destined to crumble into dust. You ignore the dream of the butterfly, fragile, fleeting, but undeniably awake. When you finally wake up, and you will, you'll realize you didn't live at all. You just curated a very expensive funeral. Now, tell me, are you the dreamer, or the cold, hard stone waiting for the dream to end?